Some people don't even realize how far they've already come. They feel behind, lost, or confused, but beneath the surface, they're miles ahead of the collective. And that's not arrogance, it's spiritual evolution. I reclaim my time and energy and space. Comment below if you've been feeling out of sync with the world, yet somehow more in tune with yourself. Welcome. Today we're going to reveal the strange signs that you are already far ahead on your path. Even if it doesn't look like it from the outside, being chosen doesn't mean being celebrated. It often means being isolated. And in that solitude, a different kind of power is born. If you felt too much, too deep, or too different your entire life, it's likely because you're not meant to follow the average template. You're not just growing, you're transforming. The signs are subtle. Not everyone will see them, but those who've walked through the shadows, sat in the silence, and chosen truth over convenience. They begin to notice a shift. You stop craving validation. You stop chasing things that used to matter. You begin to feel pulled by something you can't logically explain. That's your acceleration. That's your alignment with a higher frequency that no one trained you for. Let's talk about one of the strangest signs first. Detachment from time. If you've started to feel that time is speeding up, slowing down, or losing meaning altogether, this isn't dysfunction, it's a sign of elevation. Your consciousness is beginning to operate outside the 3D timeline. You're not delusional, you're decoding the matrix. And the moment you realize that time isn't a fixed ruler, but a projection of your awareness, you start bending reality in small, powerful ways. The second strange sign is what we call divine irritation. Everything normal starts feeling unbearable. You can't tolerate surface-level conversations. You feel physically uncomfortable around certain people. Even your own habits start revolting you. This is not depression, it's a vibrational mismatch. Your energy field is rejecting the frequency you've outgrown. You're not being punished, you're being calibrated. Next is the collapse of external motivation. You don't feel the same drive to chase status, compete with others, or prove your worth anymore. It feels like apathy on the surface, but what's really happening is this. Your soul is weaning you off of external dopamine so you can source your energy internally. You begin to create, move, and decide from a place of soul truth, not social reward. That's when real alignment begins. Another powerful indicator, unexplainable inner knowing. It's when you don't need proof anymore. You just know who's for you and who's not. You just know which path to walk. You just know when to stop, when to leap, when to cut ties. This isn't guesswork. It's your intuition activating at a new level. In fact, most of the suffering you've experienced was when you ignored that knowing. But now, you listen. You trust, and your life starts reorganizing itself around that quiet certainty. Let's go deeper, because this is not about feeling special. It's about being responsible with what you've been given. The more awakened you become, the more dangerous your energy becomes to anything fake. You won't be able to stay in rooms that lie. You won't be able to entertain narratives that shrink you. And people will either be magnetized by your presence or triggered by your essence. And that's a sign in itself, energetic polarity. You're no longer neutral. You either awaken people or expose them. You either inspire them or intimidate them. This is not ego, it's energetic reality. Your field speaks louder than your words now. And you can feel it. The stares, the tension, the projection. Don't shrink. That reaction means your presence is working. Keep going. Now let's talk about something people rarely understand about chosen ones. Your chaos is coded. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid breakdowns. But you've walked straight into them again and again. You've been stripped down to nothing more times than you can count, and every single time you rebuilt, stronger, clearer, and more aware. That pattern wasn't failure, it was refinement. You weren't being punished, you were being initiated. The universe doesn't test the weak, it tests the destined. That confusion you went through, that emotional collapse, the nights you couldn't sleep because your soul felt loud and the world felt wrong. Those were sacred recalibrations. You had to lose what you thought you were to remember what you really are. And here's another strange sign of how far ahead you are. You're bored of the noise. Mainstream trends don't excite you. Gossip repels you. Shallow entertainment feels like static. Even spiritual content that's too trendy begins to feel hollow. Why? Because your frequency is tuning to source, not surface. You're not here for a dopamine hit, you're here for truth. And that alone separates you from the masses. Another clear marker is that you start to notice signs in everything. Numbers, dreams, chance encounters, songs, conversations, all start feeling like part of a coded language between you and the divine. You no longer dismiss synchronicities as coincidences. Instead, you begin to listen. That's because reality is no longer random to you. You've begun to see the field of intelligence underneath it all, and it's responding to you. And the more you listen, the louder it becomes. That's why chosen ones often experience a sudden shift in perception. You might start remembering past lives, seeing symbols in meditation, or having déjà vu so strong it feels like time folding in on itself. Your consciousness is stretching. You're peeking behind the veil, and once you see, you can't unsee. Let's pause and acknowledge something uncomfortable but important. Not everyone is supposed to come with you. One of the hardest signs that you're ahead is realizing that your relationships, no matter how meaningful they once were, begin to fall apart. Not because you stopped loving them, but because your energy began speaking a language they no longer recognize. This is why isolation is sacred for the chosen. It's not loneliness, it's preparation. The silence you feel right now, it's not empty, it's full of codes, downloads, clarity. Your solitude is your sacred space to rebuild your identity, to detox from the illusions the world sold you, and to realign with the truth of your purpose. Let's talk about another deep sign, emotional clairvoyance. You can walk into a room and instantly feel the unspoken tension. You know who's wearing masks. You know when someone is smiling but lying. You sense dishonesty before a word is spoken. This isn't paranoia, it's perception. You're reading energy now, and because you feel everything, you start to protect your peace like it's oxygen. That's why boundaries become non-negotiable. The more ahead you are spiritually, the less you tolerate energetic theft. You don't argue anymore, you don't explain, you don't overextend. You remove yourself silently and powerfully. Because you understand this now, your energy is currency. Where you spend it determines your future. And you no longer give discounts. A sign many don't recognize, your old desires are dying. You used to want the flashy things. You used to chase validation. Now, you crave depth, silence, alignment, a deeper purpose. You're not lazy. You've simply outgrown the chase. You now understand that chasing means you believe it's outside you. But attracting means you become the vibration of what you desire. And chosen ones magnetize by nature, not force. There's one more thing you've likely experienced. You've become a mirror. People confess things to you they've never told anyone. Strangers are drawn to you. Children, animals, even emotionally unavailable people. Something in you disarms their walls. That's because your energy feels ancient, like home, like truth. But here's the secret most won't tell you. Being a mirror doesn't just reflect light, it reflects shadows. So don't be surprised when people project their unhealed wounds onto you. When they misunderstand you, envy you, or even attack you. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about what you stir in them. There's a silent weight that comes with seeing too much, too soon. You've probably felt it, walking through life like you're holding a sacred secret in a world asleep. You try to talk about it, but words fall short. People look at you like you're strange, intense, or too deep. You've felt misunderstood most of your life, not because you're broken, but because you're ahead of your time. Your awareness has outrun your surroundings. And that's not easy. In fact, it's lonely. But here's the truth nobody tells you. This loneliness is actually protection. It's the universe shielding you from energies that would dilute your power, confuse your mission, and delay your timeline. The isolation isn't a punishment, it's a purification. And what you build in that space will become unshakable. Another powerful sign: you no longer chase, because you've become the magnet. You start to notice things coming to you with strange ease. Insights, people, opportunities, messages, resources. It's not magic, it's resonance. You're vibrating at the frequency of alignment, and that frequency calls in everything meant for you. This is why you've also become highly sensitive to lies. You can't stomach surface-level talk or inauthentic behavior anymore. Your soul demands realness, and because of this, you might feel like you no longer fit in with your old social circles. That discomfort, that's evolution. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to realign the grid. You might have even noticed this strange sign. You can feel the collective. You get waves of emotion that aren't yours. You cry during solar flares. You feel heavy during eclipses. You can sense a shift in the field before it hits the news. You are syncing not just with your soul, but with the soul of the planet. This is the rise of the chosen, and you are one of them. Here's what separates the ones who move ahead from the ones who stay trapped. Trusting the unseen. You've likely had to walk blind more than once. No map, no guarantee, just inner knowing. You made hard decisions based on intuitive whispers. You left people, cities, careers, and comfort, all because something higher called you. That courage, that's what makes you rare. And it's why your rewards are rare too. People wonder how you always land on your feet. They don't realize it's because you leap first, and the net forms under you later. You've mastered spiritual gravity, and the universe catches you because it knows. You're not walking the path of the many, you're walking the path of the few. Let's go deeper. Have you started seeing your reflection in others? Not their masks, but their pain, their potential, their trapped light. You walk through the world not as a judge, but as a mirror, a key, an activator. That's why people are either drawn to you like a magnet or avoid you entirely. Your very presence disrupts their slumber. You are coded to awaken. That's why your words pierce. That's why your silence shakes. That's why your love heals and your absence stings. You were never meant to be normal. You were designed to be a walking reset button for systems, for people, for patterns, for timelines. And here's one of the most undeniable signs that you're already ahead. You're starting to remember, not facts or events, but soul truth, deep cellular remembering. You're realizing you've done this before. That this lifetime isn't your first mission, but another chapter in a much larger script. You came back knowing the system was rigged, and you chose to play anyway. Because you're not here to follow rules, you're here to break spells. Let's talk about your dreams. Not your goals, your actual dreams. They've gotten louder, haven't they? Vivid, symbolic, sometimes prophetic. That's not random, that's your subconscious and higher self syncing. The veil is thinner now. Your guides, your soul, and even your past selves are speaking to you through symbols. You don't sleep anymore, you travel. And when you wake up, reality feels off, like a glitch, like a simulation. You start seeing how fake everything is, how manufactured, how programmed. Money, status, politics, entertainment, it all starts to feel like theater. That's because it is. And your soul is no longer willing to play a role in someone else's script. You're here to write your own. So what now? Now that you've seen behind the curtain. Now that you realize you're not late, lost, or broken, you're just not average. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered by the souls you wake up. You are not here to stay comfortable. You are here to shake foundations and force evolution. You are not here to fit into a world designed to distract you from your mission. You are here to rebuild the world from the inside out. And yes, this journey is hard. It comes with spiritual fatigue, with invisible battles, with the pressure of carrying light in dark places. But hear this, you were built for it. That's why the pressure didn't crush you, it carved you. You've probably been told you're too sensitive, too intense, too much. But what they really meant was, you're too awake, because you feel energy before it speaks, you see patterns before they unfold, you sense truth buried under layers of noise, and most importantly, you move by inner signal, not outer approval. That's the rarest power on Earth. Here's what's coming next. Your energy will start accelerating timelines. The people you meet, the places you go, the conversations you have, they'll begin to unlock things rapidly. You'll be guided with surgical precision. Expect synchronicities to multiply. Expect things to fall apart if they're not in alignment. Expect quantum leaps when you trust the signal. Because from here on out, life isn't linear anymore, it's vibrational. The more you embody your real frequency, the more you collapse the distance between thought and form, between desire and manifestation. You won't need to push, prove, or plead. You'll simply become the thing, and it will show up. This is the zone of spiritual mastery, and many won't understand it. They'll call it luck, delusion, arrogance. But that's fine. You're not here for their validation. You're here to shift timelines, to heal ancestral patterns, to dissolve illusions, to awaken sleeping codes in others just by walking in the room. So if you've ever wondered why your path was so rough, why your soul was tested so often, why nothing normal ever worked for you, it's because you weren't being punished. You were being forged, forged in contrast, forged through isolation, forged through inner storms, so that when the outer world starts to shake, you stand unshaken. Because the chosen don't just survive the storm, they become the storm. And now your task is to stop hiding, stop shrinking, stop pretending you're less than what you are, just to make others feel comfortable in their illusions. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be undeniable. Let them stare, let them doubt, let them whisper. Because deep down, they feel it. They know you carry something ancient, something powerful, something disruptive. They can't name it, but they feel it. And eventually they'll remember it in themselves too, because your presence activates forgotten frequencies. This is how we rise, not by preaching, but by embodying, not by debating, but by transmitting, not by seeking followers, but by becoming signals that others recognize when their soul is ready to awaken. So trust yourself. Keep listening to that strange inner knowing. The nudges, the dreams, the visions, they're not random, they're roadmaps. Honor your solitude, it's sacred. Honor your emotions, they're intel. Honor your energy, it's your currency. And above all, remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Because that version of you, the unfiltered, unapologetic, unafraid version, is not just powerful, it's revolutionary. The time of hiding is over, the time of pretending is over, the time of shrinking is over. Chosen one, your arrival has been delayed only by your own readiness. And now, you're ready.